we just came from a photo shoot. Okay, we're feeling it.
Our photo shoot was literally in front of this wall, so...
That's what.
It's not like we traveled a lot.
I mean, with the power of Photoshop, you couldn't just fool everyone.
Almost everyone.
Yeah. Do you want a statement piece? Well, look at me.
This episode is an explosion of done. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Dutch Housewives.
Dutch Housewives in the 70s.
First time broadcasting in color.
Technicolor.
Technically color.
Technically a color. Just one.
So, to be honest with you guys, I usually watch an episode 3 times.
Twice.
I've seen the film now twice.
So to be honest with you guys, I usually watch an episode 3 times. Or three? It feels wrong now. It feels so wrong.
Everything feels wrong.
After this episode, yeah. So we usually watch it 3 times. But I left this episode with such a disconnect and such a sour feeling. I was basically considering not even reviewing this episode. Because that's how done I am. I'm an explosion of done.
Yeah, so we are, of course, talking about this week's episode of Drag Race Holland, episode 4.
Oh, yeah. I was like,
you have
this was schmack. Like, what are you reviewing? I don't know.
So we're reviewing episode 4 of Drag Race Holland season 2, of course. And yeah, I must say that I haven't felt this kind of disconnect after, I think, the episode of last season with the half man, half woman runway.
Yeah.
It was a bit problematic. In my opinion, yeah.
This is an episode where we truly see the bubble of whatever production is trying to do is so obvious.
Yeah.
Especially after last episode with everyone being like, they won? What?
Yeah.
And then this episode is like, we see what you're doing. And I really don't enjoy it when I can see in the editing what you're doing.
Yeah. So we're, of course, talking about the... I don't want to say the word, but
Vivaldi?
No. The word...
The V word.
The V word, okay. The V card.
Yeah.
No, but I don't want to say the word, but I am going to say it. Favoritism.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like, maybe you guys view it differently than we did, but I mean, to me, it was very obvious that they are really trying to keep the ones that they really want to keep. And it just doesn't make sense if the overall outcome is just not the way that they want it to. And it just doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, so how it comes across to me is that they really want to push the romance storyline or buy a time, basically.
Yeah.
So basically, from both the main challenge and the runway especially, it was very obvious that the 2 in the bottom should have been Vivaldi and the Countess.
Yeah.
But sending either of them home would jeopardize the storyline that they're building with the romance.
Yeah.
If you put both in the bottom, one of them goes home. So they just put Ivy in the bottom for no reason. I really see no reason to put her in the bottom.
Absolutely not.
They sacrificed Ivy in this storyline because she's been in the bottom 3 times already. Or 2 times.
And they might want to avoid criticism that they received last season, of course, with trying to keep Abby for the storyline between Abby and Envy.
Yeah.
So that might, of course, play a role in this decision. But yeah, it's just don't overproduce, okay?
Yeah,
just
it feels wrong.
Yeah.
And I get with the Abby controversy that they don't want to do that again, but Ivy shouldn't have been in the bottom. Let's be real. She shouldn't have.
That's just what you get if you try to overproduce.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... But we are gonna dive into that.
Let's dig in.
Let's just dig into this episode, okay? We're gonna dive into that more in detail. This girl is feeling it, okay?
Nee, maar ik kan niet ademen. Door mijn neus.
En dan doe je off. I mean, you are getting like a snatched nose from this glasses. Glasses are logging off. So we are starting off this episode with the reading challenge. Reading is what? Fine.
Overrated.
Overrated. To this day, I am waiting for someone to say something else other than fundamental.
Yeah. Are we that scared to break the form? Really? Break the mold. Break
maybe
it.
It's just in their contract to say absolutely, like, you have to say fundamental.
Say fundamental or else anything you say
won't be fun.
It's gonna be funny.
So we are starting off with a reading challenge, and I preferred last year. Reads. I missed the iconic Mama Queen with I don't have a read for you because I did not expect you in this episode. That was like a read that was just like
transcending,
okay?
Yeah.
My wigs, all my wigs were just like snatched from the foam heads.
There were definitely some good ones in there.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Puny won the reading challenge, and she was definitely my favorite as well. It
Definitely.
was hilarious.
Yeah.
But in general, I did feel that last year was a little bit better.
Yeah, and also it felt a bit rushed, the editing. I felt like they were like, I can't believe that Tabitha only had one read.
Yeah,
they only featured one read from Tabitha.
I'm starting to notice again. The first 3 episodes, I didn't really notice that. Well, okay, last episode, I kind of started noticing. But we start noticing again. The problem last year with the editing was that it felt rushed and not properly reviewed, whether the flow of the episode was all right.
Yeah.
And of course, the Netherlands takes only a couple of weeks after filming and the first episode. I think it was 3 weeks this time. So
a month.
A month-ish.
1.5 months.
After the finale was taped.
Yeah.
And then they already released the first episode. And then you don't really have the time to review every episode in its completion. Like, all the episodes should flow in the same kind of flow, or at least in a contained flow for that episode.
Yeah.
The first 2 episodes, I really felt it, and I was very proud of the team that they really improved on it.
Yeah.
But with the third, I started seeing cracks, and with the fourth, it's crumbling for me.
Yeah.
And I hope this is not a trend, just that perhaps this episode with the materials they had didn't flow really well any way they tried it, and that the next episode will be good again. But I'm fearing that we're slipping back into the old critique.
Yeah. I mean, we can't do anything about it, okay? So they're editing it, not us.
True. But we're watching it.
Yeah.
If you want to retain your audience for a potential 3rd season, you really gotta fix the issues of the 1st season and the 2nd season.
Yeah. So the reading challenge is being introduced by another guest drag queen. Kind of like last year with Diva Mayday, and this time it's Dusty Hersanovic from Amsterdam.
Hersanovic.
I thought it was Hersanovic. I'm gonna roll the tape of like how they're saying it. But yeah, so you know her?
I know of her. I don't know why. Yeah.
Done. Our review is done.
Can you tell that I'm not writing the notes this week?
I'm trying to lead this episode, okay? And
yeah.
This mess is just trying to be here.
I'm not even trying to be here.
I kind of dragged him, saying like, no, you're doing this review with me, okay?
Yeah, new definition of drag queen. But I know her, but I don't know why I know her. I don't know what from I know her, but I know she's funny.
She is very funny, and she is, of course, from the older generation, so probably a sister of Tabitha. No, but she is a very interesting queen, because I kind of read some articles that were about her. Yeah, she has been through a lot, and she has, of course, been through like the older generation and the new generation. And I love that she is also fighting for gay rights right now still. Yeah. Also for fighting for the pride and saying that that's still very important to this day. I also love that she just went to the youngest looking queen and said like, you look like you need a device. Everyone just reading Vivaldi.
Just can't help it.
I also really like the read from Vanessa, even though it is in English, to Vivaldi, saying like, you're like a Picasso painting. It looks nice from afar, but it's far from nice. I really love that one.
Not a joke, just a fact.
Oh.
I mean, she hasn't really shown a nice side, at least from what we've seen.
Oh, as in like the personality nice. Yeah. I thought like
I don't know, like being nice.
Yeah. I interpreted it more as in like the mug looks nice.
Oh no, I mean no. Wouldn't want to read that.
Oh, that has layers then.
Yeah, because they had a fight already.
Yeah.
I thought that it was about that.
It's loaded, mama.
Yeah, loaded.
Oh, I also want to talk about the read that Keta had to Tabitha, because it was very funny. The way that Tabitha interrupted Keta and like actually corrected their read. Yeah. I have only written down the translation. It was kind of along the lines of, you remind me of an Egyptian god with the face of a bloodhound, referring to, I think, Anubis. And then I think she wanted to say, and a body that looks like it's in a state of decay for over 5 centuries. But she said staat van verbinding.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really make sense. That's not really a saying, right?
No, and verbinding means to connect.
Yeah, connect. So almost the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she meant to say ontbinding, which means to
Ontbinding.
decompose.
To decompose, decay. So
Yeah.
Tabitha was like, no, I'm going to correct you.
Yeah.
You strontwoord.
How?
Wow. Tabitha is so, like, such a sailor's mouth.
Yeah.
Just no filter.
She's from Rotterdam, hè?
Yeah.
Toch?
No, Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. Dat verklaart het ook niet.
But maybe she is from Rotterdam and just moved to Amsterdam. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also like Puny's read to Vivaldi saying like, thank God for the Make-A-Wish Foundation that you are here. I love that one.
So basically what you're telling me is that you like Vivaldi getting weird.
Yeah.
2 out of the 3 are about Vivaldi. But
Oké, nog 1 read en dan ben ik klaar.
you going out. Dus gaat nog 1 read en dan kunnen we weer naar huis. Hoor.
Ja, 1 readje.
Even Dollywood.
Even de statie. Even...
Anatas, ik kom nog even voor je. Nog
Ja.
1 read en dan kunnen we weer door.
Ja, dan kunnen we gewoon weer slapen.
Ja, dan ga ik weer naar huis hoor. Lekker rietje.
Lekker rietje. Hè? Rietje met rietje. Hè?
Voorstellen bij een bar. Hey, mag ik een Long Island iced tea met een lekker rietje?
Met een rietje. And
Een
then you're
rietje
getting
erbij.
red to fill.
Well, let's go.
That is our, we were gonna patent that.
If we ever open a bar.
But that's also effort. Like, I also don't care about them. But that's also a read.
Well, we're
I
not the
don't care about
bartender,
it.
so
Yeah.
who cares? They have to come up with it.
Yeah. So to conclude this reading challenge, it was okay. Not really riveting.
It was the better part of the episode.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine that?
Yes, I
Can you
can.
imagine those?
Can you imagine that?
What is that from?
So upsetting. I don't know. I don't know.
We sometimes talk in our own language, like inside jokes, and then we just can't seem to know where the origin is of that joke.
Can you imagine that? Is that Brian Alvarez?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
Laritza.
Laritza.
I think so.
Can you
I'm gonna
imagine that? Okay.
I'm gonna spend too much time looking that up.
If it's here, you know she's spending it.
Mama, yeah.
Can you imagine that?
So, Puny wins the challenge, of course, as Faraday said. Deserved, okay. And she got to choose the roles of the Rusical that was based on Cinderella. And she is being so shady, and I love that.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, just undermine everyone and put everyone in a bad role.
Exactly.
Except for some people.
And herself,
Yeah.
yeah. So those are like the main alliances of Puny, maybe?
Ooh.
No, but I do believe that she really looked into everyone's character and then see, like, I think you would fit very well in this role. So I think she wasn't shady, but she just was shady.
To some.
So this Rusical,
Yeah.
we're gonna tackle this.
Are we?
I mean, it's basically just a Cinderella story. And in my opinion, it doesn't really have a very clever twist of this existing story already. What did you think?
I don't think of her.
This face tells it all.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I really wasn't into this musical. I
Yeah.
really wasn't. Compared to last week, me saying, oh yeah, I loved how vulgar it was. And this week, I'm kind of like...
We're done.
Why is it vulgar? Like,
Yeah.
last week it made sense with the characters, and now I'm just like... It didn't hit the marks for me.
Yeah.
I didn't even giggle at least once.
Yeah.
It felt like it was trying to be funny, but it wasn't hitting the marks for me personally.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why it was so heavy on the drugs. They confused me a little bit, and from a production standpoint, it felt like they applied one method, the breaking off of the music and turning into a different style of music for another character, and then switching again and switching again. That was applied so much that it felt like bad songwriting rather than a clever trick. For a section of the song or the Rusical.
Yeah, it was distracting.
It was distracting at a point that they were
I
switching
get that.
between characters and every character had their own style of music and singing voice.
Yeah.
Like it was crashing into each other rather than being a clever interruption of each other.
Yeah.
I just didn't enjoy it. Like flat out, I did not enjoy this musical. It felt like it went on way too long.
Yeah.
Kind of like my point.
Yeah. What I also find disappointing is that with last year's Rusical, they really tried to educate people an aspect of the Dutch culture, you know?
Yeah.
With Maxima, even though they did like their own turn.
They mocked it, but it was a clever way.
Exactly. And it showcased some of Dutch culture. This, I just find, it really lacked that. There was no like reference, like clear reference to Dutch culture, except for like the red light district and the palace at the Dam.
And the foreign ideology that we're all smoking.
Yeah, and I guess the accents, because those are Randstedelijke accents.
Not all of them. I was like, why are we doing a fake farmer accent? Why?
We're better than that.
With the name Gerda.
Yeah.
That felt a little unnecessary.
Yeah. I also...
At least cast someone from there if you're gonna mock
to
the
do
accent.
a voiceover, yeah. I've watched this Rusical twice, and upon like the second...
I'm so sorry.
Because you didn't want to. No, so I watched it twice and I found out that what's also a big part of the disconnect is that somehow all the queens, and I'm talking about like everyone, seem to not really know how to act the way that this voiceover sounds.
Yeah.
They did not really know how to like emote in that tone of voice.
Yeah, because the singers are already voice acting to the words, of course, and if you can't emote their emotions, then what?
Yeah.
But even the first time we watched it, you were saying like, it feels like everyone's giving 60%.
Yeah.
And I feel like, also, again, from a production point of view, if you're noticing that all your queens are underperforming, perhaps you should grant it another evening or another morning of rehearsals.
Yeah.
Because you don't want everyone to perform.
Yeah. Everyone also seemed very tired after those rehearsals. So
almost like they rehearsed all day and then performed in the evening.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who were your, even though like you kind of suppressed it, who were your favorite performances if you had to choose one or two?
I've blocked everything from my mind.
So no one.
Yeah, I really didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I do have to say that...
I'm sorry. I'm trying really hard to be positive because I don't like... there's a lot of reviewers on YouTube that are just negativity.
Yeah.
And I really don't like to participate in that, but I'm honestly this time finding it hard to find stuff I like about this episode. Well, there's runways I loved. We'll get into that. There's several runways I really loved.
But so you were just really not vibing with the challenge.
I was so disconnected from this episode. I really felt like, what am I watching? This is not for me. It's like watching Formula One. I'm like, what? This is not made for me. I'm not the target audience. And let's go.
I mean, if you don't have something nice to say...
Then rant about how you have nothing nice to say.
Exactly. And then make a really big statement. So for me, I did find a couple of people giving more effort, and that to me was Keta and Puny.
That is true, yeah. I agree.
And to be honest, Ivy, it took a while for her to really get into the role, but she was serving good lip syncs and good faces. And especially like considering that she was in a wheelchair, that's a big challenge for someone who really wanted to showcase the dancing ability as well. So I really would like to commend her for that. So those three were my standout.
Yeah, now we're talking about it. I do remember indeed, like Keta and Puny were very convincing in what they were giving. It didn't match the audio per se, but they were really giving faces. They didn't stop acting. And from the three stepsisters, indeed, Ivy was the best one for sure. Especially with her constraint. She gave it her all.
Yeah, I was
and I didn't get that from the other two.
Yeah. I did want to say that I was quite disappointed in Vanessa's performance. I felt like huge disconnect from her.
Yeah, I expected more.
Because I think everyone revolved around her being so positive. She really needed to go there. Very exaggerated. Like Rachel Berry from Glee kind of style. I really wanted that. Like
I wanted the fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that. I was missing that. And then I think the fact that she committed only like 60% made the ending fall flat as well. Yeah. Where she was like, actually, I kind of don't agree. That was like the plot twist of this whole thing. It did not work because of her performance.
I was already checked out by then.
So after the maxi challenge, we move on to the runway. I think this runway is a really great theme. Like, I really
love that, yeah.
Loved the fact that they were given the opportunity to create a statement on the runway.
Yeah.
Usually it's being done without that being the theme of the runway, but now they really had the opportunity to showcase something that they find very important.
Exactly. So the theme of the runways was to incorporate a statement into your garment and to have that speak as your message.
Yeah.
And I really like that all of the queens went for something different.
Yeah.
Also, if I look at what Juicy and Reggie also had interesting outfits.
Oh, really?
I don't know what Masisi would have done, but yeah, it was Juicy's was about religion and homosexuality.
Oh.
It was a very beautiful kind of cape moment.
Oh.
And Reggie B's outfit was about violence against LGBT. She had a beautiful rainbow dress and a progress flag edition as a headpiece, which I loved.
Yeah. Love that they had the opportunity to give that statement.
Yeah.
And
beautiful statements, most of them.
Yeah. And I must say, I quite have a strong opinion about everyone's runway. I think also because the theme is statements.
They're all very current.
Yeah.
And also very much in the public debate, or at least in the LGBT debate. I love this.
Yeah.
It's really a one-of-a-kind kind of runway.
Yeah.
And for me, most of the queens really nailed this.
Yeah. Kudos, really. And I also wanted to say that I mostly viewed their statements first and then the look second.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's more important. Like, of course, you need to support your story and your statement with your look. But I value what you have to say more than how it is executed, basically.
Yeah. And it's only a medium of the message.
Yes.
The statement is the true assignment of the runway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're gonna dive into Let's. So I want to talk about Ivy's first, okay? I might be a bit biased, but that was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Obviously. So Ivy tackled a very serious issue that is very relevant right now, and it is the hashtag Stop the Asian Hate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she did it really beautifully, where she picked a very specific example of the blaming the Miss Rona situation on a whole entire race, okay, which is such a heavy blame to put on an entire race and very problematic. And I think she has done a beautiful tribute to that. And I also wanted to share a little bit about the Stop Asian Hate, which was, of course, trending this past year. It has also affected me because a lot of people tend to view the Asian race as the race minority group that have endured the least amount of racism. That's just not true. Especially because I think people tend to think that all of the stereotypes revolving around Asian people are mostly positive. Quotation marks? Yeah. Because a stereotype is a stereotype and it can definitely have an effect on Asian people, even though it is seen as positive. This mentality has really affected me personally as well, because I've also for the longest time denied that I was a subject to these kinds of acts of racism, because I've never really given it a place and I've never really accepted that it could also affect me. And I think this whole movement is so important, and that's why we also of course support the BLM movement of last year, because racism affects everyone. I love that there's a shift in society basically where everyone understands that and everyone wants to give it support and give it some highlights. So I was very touched by Ivy's runway and I was very proud of her as well.
Yeah, same. And I'm proud of you for saying this right now.
Ooh, heavy.
No, but I agree. This was, for me, also the favorite statement on the runway tonight. Also because we've been in a relationship for 5 years now, and you being born in Jakarta, Indonesia, and moving to the Netherlands, and you really exposed to me what you had to deal with. For me, growing up with the white privilege, of course, you often don't see the minor thing. You're really blind to those moments.
Yeah.
The first time I really noticed was when we were both trying to go to a line in the supermarket and a woman tried to pass us and she really looked at you as if you were trying to murder her.
Yeah.
And she was gonna smack you or something.
Yeah.
And then smiled to me when she passed me.
And said, excuse me.
Yeah. That really opened my eyes to how my Asian friends have to endure a lot more subtle racism.
Yes. And that's also like the pain, the very painful part. I've even received racist comments from my friends, from like high school friends. And that was like not even that long ago. And it takes you by surprise and you just don't know how to react to it. Sometimes I, of course, stated that that was just problematic and they should stop saying that. But I think a lot of people from our minority group, they tend to like excuse it and say like, oh, it's fine. Like, I know you don't mean it that way, but it's just very problematic to say some things. Yeah. Some ignorant things. So yeah, that's basically our opinion on Ivy's runway. A bit heavy, but yeah.
Yeah, but also to add, the outfit was amazing.
The outfit was amazing.
It was really... She looked like a gorgeous Ibu.
Ibu, that's like a powerful woman, okay?
Yeah.
And also love that she started with like the symbolism of her being like the Miss Rona embodiment.
Yeah, and that was beautiful. Like I immediately recognized it from like you always see those pictures of how one of those enzymes looks like.
Yeah, the cells
with the crown parts.
Yeah.
And that gorgeous white bodysuit.
It was stunning.
The gorgeous white suit.
Yeah.
It really is the modern Asian woman.
Stunning.
Yeah.
And she like pulled that fan from like with the Stop Asian. I was like, whoa, wait. Yeah. Where did that come from? Yeah. I was impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous.
Was easily my favorite.
Yeah. So I was really touched about that. Yeah.
So my second favorite was Tabitha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally got her message and it's so important in our community, okay?
Yeah.
Do not body shame.
Yeah.
We do not subscribe to that.
We've both had our fair share of being called too fat to be a love interest or sometimes even too fat to be worthy of anything. And this was at a point in my life as well when I received most of that, when I was still very lightweighted. I am currently at my heaviest, but also at my happiest because I learned to accept my body, but I had to unpack a lot from the hate from within the gay community, also with therapy.
Yeah.
To unpack the very unhappy relationship I had with my own body and how I did not appreciate my body. Any curve, any love handle, any gram of fat on my titties, I hated it. I was like, I'll grab a grater so I can be as skinny as the others so people will find me worthy of love. And it's really sad. I'm happy that there's more of a movement now as well within the gay community to be like, we have to stop putting each other into small cages. The thing about LGBT and the entire rest of the community and the allyships, it had always been to remove labels.
Yeah.
To add more labels to each other and to categorize and compartmentalize each other into who's worthy and who's not. We can't do that. That is against what the LGBT plus movement is for.
Yeah.
We are here as minorities to support ourselves and other minorities, to be seen as equal and to have the same rights as everyone else. And whether that's with removing labels or inventing words to better express our identities, that's fine. But let's not be like, oh, you're fat, you're femme, you're Asian, you're not worthy.
All of the above.
2 out of 3.
No, yeah, well said. Very beautiful. Yeah, I fully agree. And especially now as well, like with the, you put on some weight in quarantine.
That's okay. Not everyone put on weight during quarantine. Some people lost weight, and that's okay. We all fluctuated.
Yeah.
We've been through the most stressful 1.5 years of our lives. I hate to say it, but they are unprecedented times. And it's normal during those kinds of turbulent times that you put on weight or you happen to eat less and you lose some weight.
Yeah.
That's okay. We should not be judgy towards each other. You should not be judgy towards yourself for that.
No, especially that. That's more important, I think. Yeah. Beautiful. And I also love the fact that Tabitha still put some humor in it to go back to the runway.
Yeah.
So where she would like turn her back and say like, you can kiss my butt. Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. So it was beautiful. Good job.
Yeah.
Also minimal, but works perfectly.
I usually hate lettering on dresses, but this worked because I recognized all the phrases.
Yeah. It was real. Yeah, exactly. And the other two that I also really loved were Punis and
Vanessa.
Yeah. Forgot her name.
Yeah.
What I loved about all these looks were that they were very personal. Yeah. They were coming from the heart, and they really wanted to give out a statement that felt very true and very genuine, especially Puny and Vanessa. They both had also a very beautiful theatrical performance on the runway as well. It was like I got to know them and I got chills.
And for both of them, their outfits really emphasized or underlined their statements and their stories.
Yeah.
Vanessa's dress could have easily gone as the fourth in the series of Nikki the actress dresses.
From Eurovision.
Yeah,
oh
because
my
all
God.
three of Nikki's dresses were inspired by the trans flag.
Yeah.
And this could have easily been the final statement piece.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, and she looked beautiful. And she shined as if like she was on top of the world.
And she was.
That. She was, mama. That runway girl.
Honestly, I'm waiting for Vanessa to pull out a bad look. And I don't think she can.
She can't, okay? She's that iconic.
Yeah.
So, and then of course we have to talk about the lesser runways, at least for me. I don't know how you think about them.
I mean, we already discussed our tops, so I think our 4 favorites are the same, so I guess our bottoms are the same as well.
Yeah, so, but to me, there were no safe spots. I really had a strong opinion about everyone.
Yeah.
And I want to start off by saying that Keta's look, I did not like. And I also kind of had a problem with what her statement was, basically. It felt a little bit oversimplified. And she basically said, like, we all have demons in our minds and we just have to shake them off. I'm like, that's not really how your statement
That's
goes.
not how mental illness works, but...
I think there's a beautiful message inside of what Keta said, definitely.
Yeah.
But I would not have labeled that as mental illness. Because, it is also a very, very strong statement right now as well. We are really trying to focus more on our mental health. So maybe mental health would have been a better wording.
Yeah.
Illness is just very heavy. For me, that did not really come across.
And especially also by pairing it with a straitjacket.
Yeah.
It, for me, enforced all of the negativity that's always been around mental illness.
Yeah.
Whereas in current day, a lot of us are coming to terms with our mental illnesses and really focusing on our mental health. To combine that with a straitjacket felt in poor taste to me.
Yeah.
Perhaps she didn't word it right.
Yeah.
I want to give her that benefit of the doubt. Perhaps it didn't come out right. But in the way she phrased it, it indeed felt like we just had to, if we woke up with depression...
Shake it off.
Shake it off.
That's not how it works, okay?
You can't shake off the chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
So, that indeed felt off for me.
Yeah. And the next one that I want to talk about is the Countess, and her statement was breaking boundaries. This one, I just really did not feel a connection. I really needed something of a personal touch from Countess, where she would tie everything in together so that the statement would be so powerful. Breaking boundaries is such a statement that almost is like generally accepted within the LGBTQ plus community, almost. I really wanted to view her experience with this as well.
I mean, because she did tell that she grew up in a small village, and then of course you have to break out of the mold. But what I was also missing is that it wasn't reflected in her outfit very much.
Yeah.
She brought, of course, the 2 props of the windows that she broke off, but the rest, nothing about the outfit told me that she was breaking boundaries. It mostly just felt like I have this pretty dress from Iris van Herpen.
Yeah.
And I want to wear that, and then I'll just add a statement to it, rather than our favorite 4, who were all really inspired. Even Keta was very inspired by
the story.
The story they were telling.
Yeah. So that was a missed opportunity for me. And last one, Vivaldi's my least favorite. I am so sorry. So in Vivaldi, I'm very, very disappointed. So basically, she said that she would not like to mix politics with drag usually, and I can kind of respect that, even though, like, to me, drag in its way, in its form, quite political as well.
You're breaking through the norm, so it's hard not to be political in drag.
Yeah, but the thing that I have the most problem with is that this runway specifically asks for a statement. And the fact that she does not recognize that this runway has such a power... Privileged.
It sounds like privilege.
Yeah.
Because her statement is, of course, deforestation. To me personally, the outfit did not speak deforestation
at all.
It just felt like...
Zero.
It was a good look. It was a very good look.
Yeah.
But nothing told me anything about the statement. Also, in her explanation, it felt more like, deforestation or whatever.
Yeah, because I like animals and I like plants. So I was just very disappointed that Vivaldi did not take the time to do research, to do like a proper, like a study of something, like one specific aspect that it covers the whole statement. And I don't know. I was just very disappointed.
Yeah, it could have been a very strong statement about climate change or about the harm that humans do to nature.
Yeah.
With, for example, deforestation. It could have been such a strong message, especially on the podium that you were given. And she really did not take the opportunity. Yeah. And in a runway where everyone else at least tried to come up with a good statement, even though sometimes their outfits did not match, at least they had their statement right.
Yeah, very that.
And with Vivaldi, it felt very much disconnected.
Yeah.
So even based on the runway alone, for me, Vivaldi and the Countess should have been in the bottom. And also, if I look at the musical, they also were one of the ones that didn't impress me.
This was the clearest bottom two this whole season.
Literally.
The clearest.
Yeah. And I was like, this is so obvious.
Yeah.
Wonder who out of the two is going home.
I was so gagged when they called Vivaldi and said you were safe. The first one. The first one, I was like, okay, this is just favoritism.
Yeah.
This is just favoritism. So now we also get to find out that Puny finally wins a challenge.
Finally.
Oh, this is the one decision that I agree this whole episode. Yeah. And the fact that she won the reading challenge as well. I'm so happy for Puny. Finally, she gets the recognition that she deserves. Overdue, okay? Yeah. She nailed this episode. It's her episode. And only hers.
And then, of course, we get to the bottom two.
Yeah.
The Countess is put in the bottom, and Ivy. And I really got angry at that point because I felt like I was seeing what they were doing, trying to push the romance story between Vivaldi and the Countess, saving Vivaldi, in my opinion, for no reason.
Completely, like, glazing over the whole lip sync. Labeling it as bad, just in general.
I mean, even glazing over the entirety of Ivy's run on this episode, it was a good run. Her outfit was good. Her statement was good. Her run on the Rusical wasn't as bad as the others.
No.
I thought she was really giving it her all. So to put her in the bottom, I really disagreed with. This just felt blatantly wrong. No hate to Vivaldi. She did not make that decision. Let's just make that clear.
Do not send any hate to these queens at all. Just don't.
Ever. Just don't.
Please don't. I'm also definitely not faulting Vivaldi.
Vivaldi.
I'm also not blaming Vivaldi at all. This was just completely production to me.
Yeah.
I felt like from this week, like the start, they immediately just wanted to get rid of Ivy. That's how I viewed it. And that I really
and they couldn't
really
justify it. They couldn't justify it.
They just can't. And that's just what you get if you really trying to push a storyline. It just doesn't make sense. With our fantasy, with any fantasies, with any jantasies.
Literally.
No, it just doesn't, okay? So... we are a little bit frustrated. So I'm sorry to you guys that we are maybe a little bit down with this episode. But we are really trying to also still be fans of the show. And we are still rooting for the show, okay? So I'm still going to watch every episode. But what do you guys think? I really am curious to your perspectives.
Yeah. How did you experience these statements and the eventual decision based on it?
Are we maybe exaggerating our views? That, of course, like I would love to hear some counter arguments as well. Leave it in the comments.
We love to talk with you guys in the comments.
Yes,
so
please. Drop
your opinion. Let's talk. Hopefully next week will be a bundle of joy again.
Explosion of joy.
Explosion of fun.
Yeah.
Like, let's make this up. We always want to be fair to the show, even when we don't like an episode. We, of course, love Drag Race Holland.
Yes.
We will support it till the end. And blatant storylines that are being pushed are not the way to go.
So then let's just wrap up this episode, okay?
Yeah, Mama.
Yeah, Mama.
I want to say, drink loads of water.
Water. This time my water bottle is full, but the glass is a bit dirty. Makeup stains.
So you know some water fetish here?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, why not? There's a fetish for everything, right? I once dated someone who had a fetish of farts.
Okay, we're gonna end the episode here. See you next week.
See you next week. Compliment our looks, of course.
Or not. Goodbye.
Bye.